Hi guys, my name is Vika Tivu and welcome to my channel if you're new here, and if you're an old subscriber, thanks for coming back. So for those of you who don't know me, here's a little bit of background about why I'm so productive and why I'm giving you these tips. So for my undergraduate, I studied at the University of Oxford, where I was studying classical archaeology and ancient history. Then I went on to do my master's degree at Harvard University, the Graduate School of Education, where I was studying international education policy, and then I became a girls education advocate, and now I'm doing my PhD at Claremont Graduate University, where I am studying education leadership with a concentration in urban leadership, specifically at Claremont Graduate University in California. And I'm also currently a young leader for the Sustainable Development Goals at the United Nations, and that's why I'm here in this hotel right now. I am here in Paris at UNESCO's headquarters, where I'm going to be hosting and emceeing the Global Youth Forum, the 13th UNESCO Youth Forum that is happening in 2 days' time. So that is me. A little bit of background about me, and I'm 25 years old and now we're here. So as you can imagine, I get asked a lot, how am I so productive? How am I juggling so many plates? So many things that I love and care about and thrive in them, right? Like, we got to big ourselves up, right? I think I'm doing okay in what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So I'm here to give some 5 tips on some of the things that I've picked up along the way, along the journey, that make my life easier, and tell you guys what I've learned along the way. Number 1 is, okay, so before we even begin, I want to say that I think there's such value in doing the things that you love, the things that you care about, the things that make you feel inspired, motivated and passionate. But that's not always the case, right? We know that, we see that in the world around us. Like, I feel lucky to be able to do things that drive me, but I haven't always done things that drive me. Like, my time at Oxford was beautiful, I loved it, it was enjoyable 95% of the time. Then there was 5% where I was like, I'm not loving the essay I'm submitting, I'm not loving the work that I'm doing, it wasn't always fun. And there are other things in my life that I don't necessarily love, like exercising. I don't love it, but I know it's good for my health, good for me to have a longer life and to enjoy and like to see my grandkids, you know, grow up and stuff like that. So I do it because I have to, but I don't necessarily love it. So I understand that you might be watching this video and you're in a position where you hate your job, you might hate your degree and pays the bills, but are you waking up passionate? Are you waking up driven to go into that job? Probably not. So I want to preface that I'm aware of that, and I look for ways in life of making the things that I have to do that I don't necessarily want to do, how do I make them fun? Just so you know, like, where these tips are coming from. Try to make my life have magic in it, even in places where it doesn't necessarily. And I know that's not always going to be easy. So just know that I know, okay? Number 1, which is quite fits into what I just said, is about gamifying everything. Like, I gamify every single thing that I do. If you see my to-do list, like, I now use digital. I used to use physical a lot. I could only do my to-do list on a physical, but I've now gone digital, and oh my gosh, like, I make it so fun. Like, if you see the way that I do my checklists, everything has to end up with a cross in it. It helps make things just aesthetically pleasing to see. It makes it feel like a game. So if I've got a long to-do list for my studies, I'm gonna color code that thing. I'm gonna put underlinings, ticks. I'm gonna make it change color when I achieve. I'm gonna make sure, like, there's this thing that's like saying 95% done, 10% done. Like, I will find ways of making the most mundane thing look like the most fun, exciting, technologically advanced thing. The satisfaction of ticking it off, the satisfaction of seeing things turn green from red, it kind of makes you feel more motivated. So if you can find ways of making a game out of this thing that you don't love. Tip number 2 is all about making your life easier, okay? You don't have to work harder and harder and harder, just work smarter. If I've been given an essay, if I've been given work to do and it's got a reading list that's really long, the first thing that I'm doing before I even start is checking Audible, listen to it. Take the audiobook, listen to it while you're jogging, listen to it while you're taking your dog on a walk, while you're doing your laundry. Now what you're doing is habit stacking. Now what you're doing is getting 2 things done at the same time. Audible allows you the freedom to be able to, like, maneuver, listen on the go, and you're learning, you're studying. Like me, I'm currently listening to a book called Nuance by Michael Fullan, and it is part of my reading list. It is part of a big essay that I have to do. Listening to it has made my life so much easier because I can speed it up, I can slow it down, I can make it repeat, I can like take it while I'm doing anything else. I can just like it doesn't feel so much like a chore or a task because Audible has made it fun. That's what I find anyway. When I listen to the audiobooks, I take them in much quicker and much easier. Thank you, Audible, because you've been saving my degree, and I'm not even joking. This audiobook on nuanced leadership is changing my life because I'm listening to it. I pause it when I need to. I like make some notes on the side, you know what I mean? I'm literally taking my time because I have the tools. So if you have tools in your life to make your life easier, use them. Don't make it harder for yourself. If you want to join the crew of audiobook listeners like myself, then make sure you click the link in my bio. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Go and check it out for yourself. Try and listen to one of your books that you have to do on your curriculum on Audible and come back and tell me if it didn't make it easier, if it didn't make it easier to digest. Tip number 3 is I work together with people. Gone are my days of solo working. Like, why are you doing it to yourself? It makes me work smarter because there's accountability. There's someone in the room who's watching you, who's holding you accountable. At my charity, Empowered by V, the team and I, we were working okay and doing our tasks individually. Then I did a whole revamp. I was like, hold on, this team setting is not functioning properly. Let's redo this to make sure that we are getting the most out of our time together. We're now working across teams, and let me tell you something. We've never worked harder, faster, or more efficiently at Empowered by V than we have since I've been applying these tips to the team. I realized that the power of collaboration, working with your teammates, sitting around at the table, discussing things, sharing readings, sharing learnings, sharing all these different things helps make things so much easier. My 4th tip, which works for me, I'm not sure if it works for everybody else, is moving around. I cannot focus if I have to stay in the same spot for 10 hours at a time. I can't do it. But tell me to do the same amount of hours, but in 5 different spots. I'm your gal. I am your gal. So I'll move around my apartment. I'll go from the sofa to the office, to my bedroom, to go into a cafe, to go into my friend's room, to go into the study room. Like, I will work anywhere and everywhere that has a plug near it. I'll do it because for me, it just helps me focus more and concentrate more. And something about changing the setting helps me feel like it's a whole fresh task. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, this day is dragging places. And I know for some people it feels distracting to like have to keep on moving, but for me it helps me stay awake, it helps me stay engaged. And the last tip, and I plan my days so meticulously you would think that I've lost it. I need to know what I'm doing by the hour. Time blocking has become my best friend. When I time block, I'm so much more efficient. If I know what I need to be doing at 1:30 and at 2:30, at 3:15, I will get it done. Because something about it makes you feel like, well, I've written it down now and the time is here, so I've got to get it done. And for me, this might not apply to everybody. It's another tip right here. But I share it online. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see my daily schedule. Every single day I post exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in that day. I post it in the morning, then at the end of the day I check in with ticks on how much I've done. See, that gamifying element, that accountability element, that making it fun element. So actually the last tip is everything in one. Posting it online means that I know that everyone's watching and now they are expecting me to have finished what I said I was going to do today. It now feels like a game because I'm like racing against the clock, you know? And then there's something accountable about everybody waiting to see if I've done it. And it's just like whatever works for you. If something makes you feel more productive but it sounds crazy for someone else, who cares? Do what works for you. And for me, I want to know that I'm getting the most out of my day, but I also don't overwhelm myself. Like, I never write a list, and that's why time blocking is so important, because when you're time blocking, there's no way that you can add something that takes longer than the hours you have in a day. Some people will write a to-do list of 7 things that actually, when you break it down, they take like 5 hours each. They don't even have enough time in the day to do what they said they want to do. Then they feel like a failure. Are you a failure, or are you a terrible person at planning? You just don't know how to plan well. So I use planners, I use things like Notion, I use things that are already set up, that have already been done, proof and tested, and I just go in and I apply the things that I need to do day to day, and it works for me. So that is how I am productive, and that's some of the stuff that I did to keep up with my work at Oxford, keep up with my work at Harvard, what I'm doing right now currently as a PhD student, and it's worked so far. all these years these tips have worked, so I hope they're helpful for you. I hope it helps. Without further ado, that's it. I'm gonna go because I need to go to UNESCO to go and do UNESCO things. I can't believe I'm in Paris. This is crazy. And yeah, I love you guys a million. Hope you enjoy, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.